Love, a precious gift, but also a challenging journey. Have you ever felt lost in your relationships? Or wondered how to build a lasting and happy love? Imagine looking back on a love that felt destined, a connection so profound it reshaped your very soul. There was a woman who saw you in ways no one else ever did, who entered your life at exactly the right moment, gifted you memories more vibrant than any dream, and stirred emotions you had long buried. She taught you truths that continue to guide your journey, and forged a bond so rare it bridges time and distance. In the following exploration, we uncover 6 powerful reasons why a man never truly forgets the woman who changed his world forever. Welcome to the channel, Sophia's Knowledge, and my name is Sophia. This is where we share lessons about love, practical experiences, and secrets to building strong relationships. In today's video, Sophia will reveal to you 6 reasons men always remember that special woman from the past. If you are looking for a deeper understanding of love and how to develop relationships, don't miss this video. Before watching the video, find a quiet space and put on your headphones so you can feel every word I share. Relax and enjoy this journey with me. Are you ready to embark on this journey? Let's go. Number 1. She made him feel deeply understood. There is a profound difference between being heard and being understood. Many people listen, but very few truly see into the soul of another person. For a man, encountering a woman who can perceive his inner world without judgment, who can sense his unspoken fears, dreams, and vulnerabilities, is a rare and unforgettable experience. Men are often taught from a young age to hide their emotions, to be strong, stoic, and impenetrable. Society has long conditioned them to equate vulnerability with weakness. As a result, many men move through life carrying silent burdens, wearing masks that shield their true selves from the world. When a woman comes along who genuinely understands him, not just the facade he shows, but the complicated, layered man beneath, it feels like finding a safe harbor after years of battling relentless storms. In her presence, he does not have to pretend. He does not have to perform. He can simply be. Her ability to read between his words, to catch the subtle shifts in his tone, to notice the silent battles he fights within, makes him feel deeply seen. It is not the grand gestures or loud affirmations that stay with him, it is the quiet moments when she understood the things he could not bring himself to say out loud. This sense of being understood creates a powerful emotional bond. It is a bond that transcends physical attraction or common interests. It taps into a fundamental human need: to be accepted for who we truly are. When a man feels that level of emotional intimacy with a woman, it becomes incredibly difficult for him to forget her, even as time passes and circumstances change. The way she listened without interrupting, without immediately offering advice or solutions, made him feel respected. She did not rush to fix him or criticize his flaws. Instead, she simply sat with his truth, allowing him to express himself fully, even when his words were clumsy or incomplete. In a world that often demands men to toughen up, to keep moving, her patience and compassion were a balm to his spirit. Moreover, she recognized the strength in his vulnerabilities. She did not see his moments of doubt as failures. She saw his willingness to open up as a sign of bravery. She understood that true courage is not the absence of fear but the decision to be authentic despite it. In doing so, she gave him permission to be human, to be imperfect, and to be loved regardless. This kind of emotional sanctuary is exceedingly rare. Most relationships operate on the surface: shared hobbies, mutual attractions, similar life goals. While these elements are important, they do not reach the depth of connection that true understanding fosters. A woman who can touch the innermost parts of a man's soul becomes a memory he carries forever, a standard against which he subconsciously measures every relationship that follows. Even if life leads them down different paths, even if time and distance create an unbridgeable gap between them, he will remember her. He will remember how easy it felt to be around her, how he did not have to armor himself or filter his feelings. He will recall the comfort of being accepted, not for what he achieved or how he appeared, but for who he was at his core. Sometimes, he may not even realize it immediately. It might take years, perhaps after a string of relationships that lack that same depth, for him to understand what he lost. He may meet women who are beautiful, successful, intelligent, but still feel a lingering emptiness, the absence of that soul-level connection he once had. And in quiet moments of reflection, her memory resurfaces, not as a painful wound but as a bittersweet reminder of something real and rare. It is important to understand that being deeply understood is not about agreeing with everything he says or losing oneself to cater to his needs. True understanding comes from a place of empathy and authenticity. She remained her own person, with her own dreams and boundaries. But she made the effort to truly know him, beyond the superficial layers. She saw both his strengths and his scars and chose to embrace them all without trying to change him. That choice, to see him, to stay, to honor his truth, is what leaves an indelible mark on his heart. In the end, the women men remember most vividly are not always the ones who brought the most excitement or passion into their lives. They are the ones who touched them deeply, who made them feel known in a world where most connections remain shallow. She is the one who understood without needing elaborate explanations, who offered comfort without asking for repayment, who accepted the broken and beautiful parts of him alike. That is why he keeps remembering her. That is why, no matter how much time passes, no matter how many chapters of life he writes without her, a part of him will always hold a quiet, sacred place for the woman who made him feel deeply understood. What do you think of this lesson? Have you applied something similar in your life? Please share your thoughts or stories in the comments. I will read and respond quickly. Thank you for your attention. Let's continue together. Number 2. She appeared when he needed someone the most. Timing in life is everything. Sometimes, it is not about who you meet, but when you meet them. For a man who is navigating through one of the most challenging, confusing, or vulnerable periods of his life, the presence of a woman who offers genuine support and care can leave an impact that lasts forever. There are moments in a man's life when he feels lost. Maybe he is struggling with career failures, grappling with the loss of a loved one, healing from past heartbreak, or questioning his own worth. During these low points, pride often prevents him from reaching out for help. He might appear composed on the outside, but internally, he is fighting battles that exhaust his spirit. It is during these fragile times that the appearance of a woman who offers comfort without judgment feels nothing short of miraculous. She does not come with grand promises or dramatic declarations. She simply shows up. She listens, she cares, she stays. Her mere presence becomes a source of strength for him when he feels weakest. She does not push him to move faster than he is ready. She does not belittle his struggles or compare his journey to anyone else's. Instead, she provides a quiet, unwavering support that tells him he is not alone. In a world where it often feels like expectations and criticisms are endless, she gives him a space to breathe, to heal, and to rebuild. And because she was there at a time when he needed someone the most, her memory becomes anchored to his survival, his transformation, and his rebirth. She is not just a chapter in his life story, she is a lifeline woven into his soul. The timing of her arrival matters. If she had come into his life at a time when everything was perfect, perhaps he would have appreciated her beauty, her kindness, her spirit, but he might not have needed her in the same visceral way. But because she appeared when he was on the edge, when he questioned his own strength, her presence became synonymous with hope itself. She witnessed him at his most unguarded moments. She saw the cracks in the armor he had spent years building and did not flinch. She stood by him not because he was impressive or successful, but because she recognized the goodness within him even when he could barely see it himself. And that kind of loyalty is unforgettable. More importantly, she did not try to save him or fix him. She understood that healing is a personal journey. She simply offered a hand when he stumbled, a shoulder when he needed to lean, and a quiet faith that he would find his way again. She treated him with dignity, allowing him to reclaim his strength on his own terms, all the while knowing that her belief in him was a silent but powerful force pushing him forward. This kind of support is rare. Many people disappear when life becomes too complicated, too messy, too uncomfortable. But she stayed. She stayed through the nights filled with doubt, through the conversations heavy with pain, through the silences that screamed louder than any words. Her consistency during his darkest hours set her apart from everyone else. Years later, no matter how successful he becomes, no matter who else enters his life, he will remember her. Because while many may celebrate his victories, few were there when he was surrounded by defeat. While many admire his strength, she saw the vulnerability that gave rise to it. She knew the battles he fought in silence and loved him not despite his struggles, but because of the courage it took to face them. In every future relationship, a part of him may silently compare. He may wonder if anyone else would have had the patience, the kindness, the resilience she showed. He may realize that the comfort she provided was not based on words but on presence. It was the way she made difficult days feel a little more bearable, how her quiet encouragement helped him believe in himself again. Sometimes, he may even question whether he truly appreciated her enough at the time. Perhaps he was too wounded, too distracted by his own turmoil to fully grasp the depth of her gift. And that bittersweet realization only deepens his sense of gratitude and longing when he looks back. In truth, a woman who shows up during a man's most difficult seasons carves a place in his memory that is sacred. She becomes more than a former lover or a fleeting relationship. She becomes a symbol of hope, resilience, and unconditional support. She is the reminder that even in his weakest, most broken moments, he was still worthy of love. She is the proof that kindness exists without conditions. And she is the echo in his heart that tells him that no matter how strong he becomes, it is okay to lean on someone when the weight of the world feels too heavy. That is why he remembers her. That is why, no matter how much time passes, her memory remains untouchable, like a soft light in the darkest corridors of his past. She appeared when he needed someone the most, and that kind of presence is never, ever forgotten. If you are still watching the video, do not hesitate to comment continue. Leave your thoughts and questions below in the comment section. I look forward to hearing your opinions. And do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that Sophia has more motivation to create more good and meaningful videos. Let's continue together. Number 3. The memories they created were too beautiful to forget. There are moments in life that seem suspended in time, untouched by the ordinary passage of days. They are so vivid, so rich in emotion, that even years later, they remain as clear as if they had happened yesterday. When a man shares such moments with a woman, it becomes nearly impossible for him to forget her, no matter how much life changes. The memories they created together were not necessarily grand or extravagant. Often, they were simple: a quiet conversation under the stars, a spontaneous road trip with no destination, a shared laugh over something silly, a silent hug that spoke volumes. It was not about the place or the circumstances, it was about how he felt in those moments, completely alive, completely connected, completely himself. Beautiful memories have a way of etching themselves into the heart because they capture more than events. They capture feelings. Feelings of freedom, of safety, of joy, of belonging. And when those feelings are tied to a specific person, that person becomes inseparable from the happiness they once experienced. Sometimes, it is the smallest moments that carry the greatest weight. The way she looked at him when he was talking about his dreams. The way she laughed, uninhibited and pure, lighting up the entire room. The way she reached for his hand instinctively in a crowd, grounding him without saying a word. These moments became fragments of beauty he never realized he would miss so much until they were gone. The magic of those shared experiences was not something that could be easily recreated with someone else. Every new relationship, no matter how wonderful, would inevitably feel different. Because what they had was unique, a meeting of souls that happened in a very particular moment in time, under a very particular set of circumstances, that would never come again in exactly the same way. That realization often comes gradually. At first, he may believe that he can move on easily, that new experiences will replace the old. But as time passes, he understands that certain chapters of life are closed not because they lacked value, but because they were too precious to be repeated. They were meant to be lived once, cherished forever. The beauty of those memories is also tied to the person he became while he was with her. She brought out parts of him that he might not have known existed. She inspired him to dream bigger, to laugh louder, to feel deeper. Being with her allowed him to access emotions and experiences that enriched his soul in ways he had never anticipated. In many ways, she was the mirror reflecting the best version of himself. And so, when he remembers her, he is not just recalling her smile or her touch, he is also remembering the man he was when he was with her. That version of himself, vulnerable and vibrant, became a part of his identity that he treasures, even if he no longer displays it openly. Sometimes, a song will play on the radio, and a flood of memories will come rushing back. Sometimes, a scent in the air, the laughter of a stranger, or a particular turn of phrase will awaken the ghosts of those moments. And for a fleeting second, he will be transported back to those days when everything felt beautifully simple and endlessly possible. He will remember how she made mundane moments feel extraordinary. How even a grocery shopping trip turned into an adventure filled with inside jokes. How sitting in traffic became a private concert with her singing along to every song. How rainy days, instead of feeling gloomy, became cozy afternoons wrapped in warmth and shared dreams. Those memories are not burdens, they are treasures. They remind him that he is capable of loving deeply and being loved in return. They remind him that life is not measured solely by achievements or milestones but by the quality of the moments shared with someone who truly matters. And even though those days have passed, and their paths have diverged, he honors those memories by carrying them gently within him. They are not sources of regret but of gratitude, for having lived something so genuine, so luminous, that it leaves an everlasting imprint. The truth is, no matter how much time passes, no matter how many new memories he creates with others, the ones he shared with her will always hold a special place. They are irreplaceable not because they were perfect, but because they were real. And in a world that often feels rushed and superficial, realness is a rare and priceless gift. She will always be associated with the time in his life when he felt most alive, most seen, most connected. And that kind of impact is not something that fades with time. It becomes a part of the fabric of who he is, a silent thread of light woven through the tapestry of his existence. That is why he cannot forget her. That is why, in quiet moments, when he reflects on the life he has lived, her memory rises gently to the surface, not with bitterness, but with a tender ache, a soft smile, and a heart full of gratitude for the beautiful memories they once shared. Number 4. She awakened his truest emotions. In a world where appearances often matter more than authenticity, finding someone who awakens your truest emotions is a rare and transformative experience. For a man, meeting a woman who evokes feelings so raw, so genuine, and so profound that he cannot help but lower his walls, is something he never forgets. Many men go through life wearing invisible armor. They learn early that showing too much feeling might be seen as a weakness. They smile when they are supposed to, nod when expected, and keep their deeper emotions tucked away behind practiced faces. They build entire lives on foundations of control and self-protection, believing that is the only way to survive. But then she arrived. She was different. She did not just interact with the surface version of him, she reached inside, past the rehearsed answers and polite smiles, straight into the heart he had kept hidden for so long. Without even realizing it, he found himself opening up in ways he had never dared to before. She did not force his walls down. She simply stood there with such sincerity, such genuine interest, that the walls crumbled on their own. Around her, he laughed more freely. He dreamed more boldly. He cried without shame. She made him feel safe enough to express emotions he had long buried: fear, hope, longing, tenderness. It was not just romantic affection that she stirred in him. It was the entire spectrum of human feeling, vibrant and alive. He began to see himself differently because of how he felt around her. The hardness he had believed necessary started to soften. He realized that strength did not mean being emotionless. True strength was having the courage to feel everything and still stand tall. She showed him that being vulnerable was not a flaw but a gift, an invitation to experience life more deeply, to connect more authentically. Through her, he remembered what it was like to be young and unguarded, when the world was still full of wonder and possibilities. She rekindled passions he had abandoned. Dreams he thought were impractical resurfaced with new urgency. Joy, sorrow, excitement, heartbreak, all of it felt sharper, more vivid, more real in her presence. The truest emotions she awakened were not always easy. Sometimes they hurt. Loving her meant confronting fears of loss, rejection, and inadequacy. But even in the pain, there was a strange kind of beauty, because feeling deeply, even when it stung, was far better than feeling nothing at all. She challenged him to be honest, not just with her, but with himself. He could no longer hide behind excuses or pretend that certain dreams did not matter. Her presence demanded authenticity, and he rose to meet it, even when it scared him. In doing so, he grew, not just as a partner, but as a man. There is something unforgettable about the person who shows you the depths of your own heart. No matter how many years pass, no matter how much life changes, he will always remember the woman who awakened emotions he thought he had lost or never had in the first place. She became the living proof that he was capable of profound love, immense compassion, and raw vulnerability. Sometimes, he may try to recapture that feeling with others, seeking that same ignition of soul. But rarely does lightning strike twice in the same way. Connections like that are not manufactured, they are serendipitous and sacred. They arise when two souls meet at just the right moment, with just the right openness, and create something that neither could have achieved alone. She awakened in him a deeper understanding of himself. Through her, he learned what it meant to be truly alive. To love without conditions, to hope without guarantees, to grieve losses and still believe in new beginnings. These are lessons that stay imprinted on the soul long after the relationship itself ends. Even in relationships that follow, her influence lingers. He may find himself more willing to open up, more patient with his emotions, more fearless in expressing his heart. Or he may guard himself even more tightly, fearing that he will never find another connection quite like the one they shared. Either way, she changed him. And that is the true mark of a meaningful relationship, not whether it lasted forever, but whether it left a permanent imprint on who you are. She did not just walk beside him for a time, she walked into the deepest parts of his being and illuminated them. She made him feel, really feel, at a time when he had grown numb to the world. And for that, he will always remember her. There is a sacredness in being the person who awakens another's heart. It is a kind of invisible bond, woven through memory, through spirit, through all the moments that follow. That is why he can never truly let go of her. She stirred his soul from its slumber, and in doing so, she gave him a gift more precious than anything else, the gift of truly feeling alive. Number 5. She left him with a life-changing lesson. Not every person who enters our lives is meant to stay forever. Some arrive only for a chapter, but their impact echoes across the entire story of who we become. For a man, a woman who teaches him a profound lesson, whether through love, loss, growth, or awakening, becomes unforgettable. She becomes a part of the foundation on which he builds the rest of his life. Sometimes the greatest teachers do not stand at the front of a classroom. They live beside us, love us, hurt us, heal us, and ultimately change us. She was one of those teachers. Through her presence, her actions, her words, or perhaps even her departure, she imparted something so powerful that it shifted the way he saw himself, relationships, and the world around him. Maybe she taught him what real love feels like, pure, patient, and giving. Maybe she showed him the kind of respect, kindness, and authenticity that he had only dreamed about. Through her, he learned that love was not about possession or control but about freedom and trust. She revealed the beauty of loving someone without trying to mold them into a version of perfection. Or maybe the lesson came wrapped in pain. Maybe losing her taught him the cost of taking love for granted. Maybe he realized too late that emotional walls he thought protected him only kept him from experiencing something truly beautiful. Her absence may have awakened him to the parts of himself that needed healing, the insecurities he had ignored, the fears he had never confronted. Life-changing lessons are often bittersweet. They come with both gratitude and regret, clarity and confusion. But regardless of how the lesson was delivered, it became a part of him, a compass he carries forward into every choice, every relationship, every dream. She might have taught him patience. The understanding that good things take time, and that rushing love or forcing outcomes often leads to heartbreak. She might have taught him resilience, the ability to survive loss, to endure loneliness, to rebuild even when hope seems distant. She might have taught him self-respect, reminding him that loving someone else deeply never means losing yourself in the process. Each interaction, each conversation, each moment they shared added another layer to the man he would ultimately become. Some lessons were immediate and obvious, like learning to communicate more openly or appreciate the small moments. Others revealed themselves slowly, unfolding over years of reflection, showing him hidden strengths or painful truths he needed to face. The most unforgettable thing about her was not just who she was, but what she sparked within him. She challenged him to question old patterns, to confront the parts of himself he had avoided, to strive for more. Not because she demanded it, but because being with her made him want to become better. Even if their story ended with heartbreak, her influence remained a force for good in his life. He might smile differently now, a little more freely. He might listen more carefully, love more bravely, trust himself a little more. These are the invisible gifts she left behind, gifts that no one else can see but that he feels in every important decision he makes. Sometimes, late at night, when he reflects on the journey he has traveled, he realizes that without her, he would not be who he is today. She shaped him in ways neither of them could have fully understood at the time. And even though gratitude and sorrow may mingle in his heart when he thinks of her, he knows he is better because she once walked by his side. That is why he will never forget her. She is not just a memory of love lost or happiness shared. She is the embodiment of a crucial turning point in his life. She represents a before and after, the man he was before he met her, and the man he became after she left her mark on his soul. It takes incredible courage to recognize and honor the people who teach us, especially when the lessons come with pain. But deep down, he knows that her role in his life was not accidental. It was essential. Their paths crossed for a reason far greater than either of them might have realized in the moment. He carries her lessons not as burdens, but as blessings. He builds his future relationships on the wisdom he gained through her. He treats others with the patience he once lacked. He guards his own heart more wisely, but not so tightly that he forgets how to love. The truth is, we often think of unforgettable people as those who give us happiness. But the ones who truly change us are those who challenge us to grow, to awaken, to evolve. She was one of those people for him. And no matter how many seasons pass, no matter how many miles separate them, the lessons she left behind will live within him, quietly guiding his choices, shaping his dreams, and reminding him of the extraordinary woman who taught him one of life's most important truths, that growth, even when painful, is the most beautiful gift we can ever receive. Number 6. The deep soul connection they shared was irreplaceable. In life, we meet thousands of people. Some stay for a moment, some for a season, and a rare few leave a lasting imprint on our soul. The bond he shared with her was not ordinary. It was not built solely on shared interests, physical attraction, or even long companionship. It was deeper, more mysterious, almost beyond explanation. It was a connection that touched his very essence. A soul connection so rare that once experienced, it could never be replaced. From the very beginning, it felt different. Conversations flowed effortlessly, as if they had known each other in a life long before this one. Silence between them was never awkward, it was a comfortable space where words were unnecessary. She understood his moods before he could articulate them. He sensed her joys and sorrows even before she spoke. It was as if their hearts had their own private language, one that transcended logic, distance, and even time. This kind of connection cannot be forced. It cannot be manufactured or pursued desperately. It simply happens, often when least expected, and when it does, it changes the way a man experiences love, friendship, and intimacy forever. She was not just someone he loved. She was someone whose soul seemed to recognize his, like two travelers finally finding each other after wandering for lifetimes apart. There was an inexplicable sense of safety in her presence. A feeling that he could be completely himself, messy, complicated, unfiltered, and still be loved, not in spite of his flaws but along with them. She saw his battles, both fought and ongoing, and did not flinch. She admired his strengths, understood his wounds, and accepted both without trying to fix him. The beauty of a soul connection lies in its authenticity. With her, he did not need to impress or perform. He did not have to wear masks or guard his heart with armor. Her presence invited his most honest self to emerge, raw and vulnerable, but stronger for being seen. It was a love that nurtured growth without demand, a bond that healed even as it deepened. As life often does, circumstances might have pulled them apart, different dreams, different paths, unforeseen obstacles. But physical distance or the passing of years could not erase what they had. Because soul connections are not tied to daily conversations or physical proximity. They live in the unseen spaces between two hearts that once truly touched. Other relationships may have followed. He might have found laughter, companionship, even deep affection with others. But somewhere deep within, he always knew that what he shared with her was once in a lifetime rare. It was not about comparing or longing. It was about acknowledging a simple, profound truth. Some connections are woven so deeply into the fabric of your being that they become part of who you are. Sometimes, late at night, he would think of her, not with regret, but with a quiet reverence. He would remember how it felt to look into her eyes and see not just a reflection of himself, but a mirror of his soul. He would remember how her words, even the simplest ones, seemed to reach parts of him that no one else even knew existed. There is a sadness that accompanies the memory of such a connection, a bittersweet ache that comes from knowing that some chapters, no matter how beautiful, are not meant to last forever. But there is also profound gratitude. Because few people in the world ever experience that kind of deep, soul-level bond at all. The fact that he did, even if only for a time, was a blessing beyond measure. She became, and will always remain, a sacred part of his journey. A reminder that real love is not possession or permanence, but a meeting of souls that leaves both forever changed. She taught him that true intimacy is not about knowing every detail of another's life, but about knowing their heart and still choosing to stay connected, even in silence, even across miles. That is why he will never forget her. Not because he cannot move on, but because there is no replacing what they shared. It was not just love, it was recognition. It was two souls finding each other in a vast, complicated world and, for a brief moment, dancing in perfect harmony. And even as he continues his journey, meeting new people, building new dreams, a part of him will always carry her with him. Not in longing, but in quiet celebration of the rare and beautiful truth that once, in a world full of billions, two souls met, and truly saw each other. Conclusion. In every life story, certain chapters stand apart, moments so vivid and relationships so profound that they leave an indelible mark on the heart. Reflecting on the 6 reasons why a man never forgets that special woman, because she understood him deeply, appeared when he needed her most, gifted him irreplaceable memories, awakened his truest emotions, taught him life-changing lessons, and shared a soul-level connection, reveals a powerful truth. Genuine human bonds transcend time and circumstance. First, the comfort of being truly seen establishes a foundation of trust and respect that outlasts fleeting attractions. When she stepped into his turmoil, offering unwavering support instead of judgment, she became the lighthouse guiding him through his darkest hours. The beauty of their shared adventures, whether grand or simple, etched moments into his memory that no future joy can fully replicate. Her presence stirred emotions he had long hidden away, reminding him that vulnerability is the doorway to authentic strength. Even when their paths diverged, the lessons she imparted continued to shape him: patience and love, courage and heartbreak, and the wisdom to cherish truth above all. These insights became his compass, guiding every subsequent relationship and personal growth. And at the heart of it all lay a connection so rare, one soul recognizing another, that its echoes still resonate in the quietest moments of his life. Though years may pass and new relationships may bloom, those fundamental experiences remain cornerstones of his emotional landscape. She is woven into the tapestry of his being, a testament to what it means to love, to learn, and to grow. Remembering her is not an act of longing but a tribute to the rare gift she bestowed. The transformative power of a bond that forever broadened his capacity to feel, to hope, and to love without reservation. Thank you for watching today's video. I'm so excited to share my lessons about love and relationships with you. I hope you learned something new and can apply it to your life. If you find the video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you for always accompanying and supporting me. Have a great day and don't forget to love yourself a lot.